thanks to the support as a channel member, Ollie Collins. Here's a thing I've learned about FM22 that I didn't know previously. You know that thing where you get the list of the youth players who are being released by Premier League clubs, you offer them all a trial and then try and get them to come in at the end of their contract in the summer? You remember that thing? Well, now they come in immediately, which is great for giving your team a boost to try and secure a spot in the playoffs, and is a disaster for wage budget. Hello and welcome to part 16 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our final two games of the regular season. We are away against Gateshead and at home against Guiseley. I say regular season because, as you can see from the league table, we have got a very good chance of making it into the playoffs. We have had the most absurd run I think I have ever had in Football Manager. A season that's just turned itself on its head. What a difference dynamics makes. I know we've been saying for a few years that Football Manager is just morale manager. Well, we got morale right. We got team cohesion right. And we've to be fair, we got the tactics right and made a few good signings along the way as well. But we've turned what was absolutely rotten form throughout October, November, December into what has been sensational form pretty much since the turn of the year. If it hadn't been for that defeat against Kidderminster, we'd have been undefeated in 2023 and only 2 draws in that run as well. We have won almost every game since Christmas. But as mentioned in the intro, it's not all good news because we've got a little bit of a financial disaster going on. In fact, it's not anywhere near as bad as it could be. Luckily, most of these Premier League youngsters I tried to bring in turned me down. But we are now £1,000 a week over our wage budget because of 2 new players who've arrived. I think you'd already met Jaden St. Paul in the last episode, but Ben Andrucci and Keelan Casey have both arrived. These are players who were on that email you get through of the released Premier League players. I brought them all in on trial, offered the ones that I wanted contracts. When I've done this in the last 20 versions of Football Manager, when that is all confirmed, they then join you at the end of their contract on the 1st of July, by which point the players that you're releasing leave the club. As you can see, we've got a lot of players whose contracts are up in the summer who'll be leaving the club. So it will be fine. It's a perfectly reasonable way of doing transfers. The only problem is that's not how it works anymore. They both arrived immediately on the 30th of March. Ben Andrucci is an Irish under-19 international who's on £275 a week. He's got 3.5-star current ability, 5-star potential. He is the best left winger we've got at the club. He's the best striker we've got at the club, all on star rating. Of course, he's only played 4 games because he's still been building up his match fitness, but he's in and we're having to pay his salary now, which we weren't really accounting for. And then Keelan Casey, 18 years old, 3.5-star current ability, 5-star potential centre-back, who can also play in lots of random positions as well. I think these are just random positions. He's done half a dozen substitute appearances for the West Ham youth team probably, but he's played 3 times for us off the bench and is already almost as good as Isaac Rice and David Okagbu. £275 a week for him as well. It's not ideal that these players are being paid now, but they are both great additions to the side. So, yeah, we need to get promoted to fund the fact that this has gone on, because financially we are in a little bit of a problem. Like I say, we're well over the wage budget. We're over £200,000 in debt. It's projected to get worse. We kind of need to do a promotion to appease the board, because we failed to get as far in the FA Trophy as they wanted me to. We're going to fail the wage budget thing. Yeah, we've delighted them by avoiding relegation. We need to double delight them with bells on, get promoted. I mean, we're on an A+, to be honest. I could probably bring in another 18 players and I'm not going to get fired. But obviously we've got the summer coming up. We want to be able to do transfers. And at the moment, we're not in any kind of position to do transfers. So we need to get promoted and figure out the money from there. So first up is Gateshead, who are a team who are already secured a playoff spot. It's the kind of team we do need to be able to beat if we're going to make it into these playoffs. There's a 2-point gap between us and Chorley, so 1 win in our final 2 games means we are in the playoffs, but they're these horrible non-league playoffs where it'll be a 3-round thing. So if we finish 7th, we'll have to be away from home in a 1-legged quarterfinal away from home against the 4th place team, which at the moment is Guiseley. If we then win that, in fact, no, it's not is that a semi? No, yeah, because then we would face, I think, the team that finishes top in an away from home 1-leg thing, and then it would be the final, which would be at a neutral venue. But yeah, we'd have to go away from home twice just to get through to the final in 1-legged playoffs. It's a horrible system, but I guess it allows them to have a 16 playoff rather than a 14 playoff, which apparently is better. I'd rather have home and away semi-finals, I think. But this is the team that we're going to be sending to Gateshead to try and win away from home. We've got to get used to this if we're going to make it into the playoffs. We've got St Paul in goal, a back four of Brown, Rice, Okagbu and Lewis Brown, Chong and Cornish in midfield, and then Andrucci out wide on the left as inside forward. We've switched the tactic up a little bit to fit him in. Thomas and Marsh Brown, the rest of the attacking midfield three, and then Andrew as our striker. Andrew has started scoring goals. 21 goals from 32 starts for us now. 21 from 40 appearances in total. 7.13. We finally have the striker we've been dreaming of. We just need to be able to offer him a new contract. He's out of contract at the end of the season as things stand. So, yeah, money's a problem. You know what else is a problem? This tie on my Adam's apple, which is all swollen up because I'm still coughing and spluttering and still not very well. And I've had to loosen my tie. I feel like a scruff bag. I've had to loosen my tie around my swollen glands. Oh, because it's irritating me and making me cough even more. So if I end up shirtless by the end of this match, it's because I got too irritated with it and had to solve the problem some other way. But fingers crossed, loosening the tie means it won't come to that. I don't want to look dishevelled in a video. What do you think this is? My word. Right, 15 minutes in, still 0-0. But we do have a corner. It's Cornish to take. He's going to hit that in-swinger. Okagbu's there. And his header goes just over. My word, Gateshead have got a big, fancy, all-seater ground that's got absolutely nobody in. Is this the situation in real life? Have we got some real-life Gateshead fans who can let me know what kind of stadium you're playing in? Because this seems a little bit excessive. I mean, as a Peterborough fan in the Championship, this looks nicer than the stadium we play in the Championship, which, considering Gateshead are the team we replaced in the Football League back in 1960, football facts, when we got promoted to the Football League, makes me feel like we should probably swap back again, as you seem better equipped for it than we are. I'd like to think it's just Football Manager things. It's not actually that situation. Right, as things stand, we need to get serious, because as things stand, Chorley have gone ahead in their game, which means at the moment, we are no longer in a playoff position. I said we just had to win one game. Clearly, I've got my maths wrong there, because if we draw this while they win and then we win the last one and they win the last one, we're still not in. We need to win both of these matches to be sure of that playoff spot. We need to check in on what Chorley are doing. So Chorley are... We don't know. Chorley are down here and not loading up. I think we can safely assume they're winning because they've gone above us. So it does mean that we need to win. And of course, we've got the problem that lovely long run of excellent results, that was all last week. I'm recording this Monday morning. I haven't loaded the save up for 2 days. You know what Football Manager can be like. It might be punishing me now. What has St Paul done there? I mean, the ball is straight at him. He makes a relatively easy save and then just decides, I think he forgets he's allowed to use his hands here. What on earth is this? Bring Jake Weaver back. That's terrible goalkeeping. We're 1-0 down, and this playoff dream that I spent so much of last week getting so very excited about. I know it's Tuesday as you're seeing the video, so you've still got an extra day of playoff excitement. In my world, you've still got that to come this afternoon. But no, it's all disappearing because I left the game alone for 2 days to play Pokemon, and now it's going to punish me by taking our lovely run of form away. Never, ever close Football Manager when you're in a run of good form. We should all know this by now. I should have recorded this video last week when the form was good. Sedwin Scott, a ghost of non-league to legend past, who's punished us multiple times in this series already, is in with a header. I mean, I guess ultimately, firstly, we're not completely out of things. Even Chorley could lose on the last day. We could win. We could backdoor KEV our way in. You know I'd love an opportunity to call this video Backdoor Kev. I mean, it basically guaranteed that it already is now we're losing this game. It gives us the opportunity to backdoor our way in. So we get a Backdoor Kev opportunity. But this is really poor. We're going to make a triple substitution. And I'm tempted to put Andrucci up top. He's never scored for us, but I feel like he's more of a goal threat than Mooney would be, just because he's supposedly better. So let's try that. Let's try Andrucci up front. We've got to go attacking. We can get this back to a draw. It gives us a little bit more of an opportunity, but we are still in a situation where if we win on the last day and surely draw or lose, we still make our way in. Tamworth have got a goal back against Chorley there, which we still can't see on the actual... Oh, because we're looking at National League South. Why is it showing me the National League South? Oh, everything's against me today. We've lost 2-0 against a team we might have to face in the playoffs anyway if we get there. Hippolyte wants to stay. I want him to leave. That has made things an awful lot more difficult. Guiseley, on the last day, are up in fourth. It's another difficult match. We are at home against Guiseley. Chorley at home against Kidderminster. It all comes down to that, boys and girls. We need a win on the last day. We need Chorley to lose against Kidderminster on the last day. And we'll still sneak our way into those playoffs. Well, here we go then. It all comes down to this. The Leamington champions. I don't know why I've called it. The 22-23 season. That's not predicting we'll be champions in 200 years. Although if we lose this match, that might be quite an accurate prediction. We're just going to be stuck in this league forever. We need to win this game. No changes to the team from the last match. We're just going to get out there and do better this time. We are at home. We've only lost 2 games all year, but they were games when we played against the teams up in these playoff positions, and that seems to be the problem. We're really good at beating the lesser teams, but all of our defeats in the last 6 months or so have come against the teams that are above us in this league. Kidderminster were the previous team to beat us before Gateshead, and now Guiseley are right up in this mix as well. And Chorley are already 2-0 up over Kidderminster. It's pretty much all over before we've even managed to settle ourselves into the match. Thomas with an in-swinging corner. Isaac Rice is there and has scored. So we've gone ahead in this game. But, I mean, I appreciate you celebrating, Isaac. But for me, it all feels a little bit hollow because of what's going on at Chorley. Nothing really matters here. All we can do is do our job here and hope that Kidderminster turn things around. I mean, the problem we've got is a double-edged sword, because Kidderminster would be the team we'd face in the first round of the playoffs if we got there anyway. So they're a team that's beaten us recently, and we'd want them to be in bad form going in. So even if we manage to turn things around, or they manage to turn things around against Chorley, it's just setting us up for a likely defeat in the first knockout round of the playoffs. I think probably, on balance, finishing 8th and not having to go through the suffering of being beaten in the playoffs again. Anyone who watched Born in the USA last year will know my current track record for playoffs across that and across Twitch and across all of my saves. I think I've lost about 8 or 9 playoffs in a row at this point. I don't want to do the playoffs particularly. We probably are better positioned to build on the form that we've had in the second half of this season, strengthen the team in key areas this summer, and just go up as champions next year. It probably is better to do it that way. We're 2-0 up now, but I can't pretend that I'm not disappointed. And I'm sat here half an hour to go, still kind of dreaming that Kidderminster find a way back into that game and we do get to sneak through, because goodness me, would it be exciting if it happened? Thomas now to Andrew, who's dropped very deep here, playing it through to Thomas, who is a player we would be looking to get on loan again next season. He's been an excellent addition to the team this year. Although I guess if he does move on, Theodros might be ready to pop into that position. Elliot Andrews just scored an absolute screamer. Priority needs to be making sure that he is here next year. 24 goals now. The vast majority of them have come in the second half of the season. I think he could potentially be the 30-goal-a-season striker that you need to be champions, just based on the form he's been in the second half of this season. I need to make sure we don't make the same mistake again this summer that we did previously, of ruining dynamics and making it take forever for the team to settle. We've got a settled team. We don't need to change it massively. We know it's a good side. It just needs the odd tweak here and there to become a team that can go up as champions. And I've got to remind myself of that over and over again going into the transfers, which at this stage looks like it's almost certainly going to be tomorrow's video, because I just don't see us getting ourselves, or I mean, I say don't see us getting ourselves back into the game. We're 3-0 up against a team that's already in those playoffs. This is an excellent performance for a final day of the season here at home, but Chorley are now 3-0 up over Kidderminster. It never, normally Football Manager teases you a little bit, gives you a little bit of hope. There's not even any hope today. It's just said straight away, yeah, you had a good run, but you're not promotion material this year. Stay in your lane, Leamington. We've overachieved massively. I just hope we've not ruined the finances to do it. It's going to be interesting to see what the board set as budgets for next year, as we now know that we're going to be in this league again. We have got the basis of something really, really good here, as long as we don't have to disassemble it because of budgets being wrecked. That's what we've got to be hoping for at this point. So I guess that's going to be the headline of tomorrow's transfer special. Are we going to be able to add to the team, or is it going to be a summer of trying to fix the wage budget? Kane Felix, another ghost of non-league to legend past, is in. I think he's scored 36 goals this season for Guiseley. He is someone we're very much looking at. He's only 27 years old still. He plays as a pressing forward for them and is a goal machine. Probably going to be on far too much money for us to be able to bring him in. But I know way back when he was at Boston, so this is going back 7 non-league to legends, and we used him on the left wing in that team, and he was really effective there. So I think he could probably be someone who would be great as part of anywhere in this front four if we were able to get him. He is out of contract with them at the end of this season. So I suspect we'd be hoping for them to go up through the playoffs and decide he's not good enough for the step up. I think if they're in this league again next year, they probably throw all the money they have at him to try and keep a 36-goal striker at the club. Kelsey Mooney, 11 for him for the year now. Something of a forgotten man with the emergence of Elliot Andrew, but he was the first one to be given the long-term contract. He's the only original still here, and he's just reminding me not to forget about him. With Andrucci arriving, with Andrew scoring all these goals, we've still got Kelsey Mooney, who's got that in his locker, and he's still not old himself. He has still got capacity to get better. But alas, that is it, boys and girls. We didn't make it into the playoffs. To be fair, we only snuck up to that level very briefly, and we have finished, I think, probably higher than we deserved based on the balance of the season as a whole. But goodness me, 38, it actually was for Felix, not 36. Goodness me, does it sting knowing we started the episode in possession of the position and beat a playoff team 4-0 on the last day. We just couldn't do it against Gateshead, and it cost us. But really, it's not the Gateshead match that cost us. That match is a match we were supposed to lose. The matches that cost us are these ones back here. Drawing 0-0 at home to Nuneaton. Nuneaton, who finished... There you go, 2 consecutive 0-0s against Nuneaton and Lowestoft. If you want to work out where it went wrong, it was there. Where was it? It was in here. So Lowestoft, Nuneaton back-to-back, and then we lost to York and Spennymoor. Well, Lowestoft, Nuneaton both relegated. York are there, Spennymoor are there. That run of 4 games where we only picked up 2 points against those 4 teams. Turn any of them into a win, and we're in the playoffs. So fingers crossed next year, because I'm not going to wreck dynamics. I promise that was cough and not be crying. Or I feel like I could cry. There's no tears. You've got tears in your eyes. It's all gone wrong. Yeah, we won't wreck the dynamics this year. And next year we win the league, as long as we can keep the team together. Oh, I'm gutted. I genuinely thought we were going to get into the playoffs today. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. Thank you very much for watching.